All right, everybody, it's Chris Garrison here with the Bigger Vision Show. I have got a special guest today. He's my mentor. You're going to be very impressed by his story. It's extremely inspiring, the fact of where he's come from and where he's at today and where he's still got to go. So I've got Mark Evans, DM. He is multiple best-selling author. He has got a mastermind. He's got a podcast. He runs multi-million-dollar businesses. I mean, if you're interested in growing yourself, this is the guy that you want to be listening to. So, Mark, introduce yourself. Tell us where you came from and where you're at today.
Absolutely, Chris. Thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it. You're saying all these things I do, but yet I feel like I do nothing all day. You know what I mean? And I think that's what most entrepreneurs feel like. We have all this craziness going on. You're like, but dude, I'm doing nothing. I'd rather much have that than be doing like two things and thinking I'm overwhelmed and I got a lot going on.
Right.
So we'll talk about that later, I'm sure. But no, man, I appreciate you having me. I'm sitting here in Parkland, Florida as we speak. Beautiful day. About to head off to the yacht show actually in about an hour after this. Nice. And, that's a long way away from where I grew up. I grew up in small town, Ohio, an hour east of Columbus, town of 650 people. No cops, no stoplights, just good old people. Hanging out, you're either a farmer, construction, or worked at the mill. Not knocking it. It's just I always wanted more. I had bigger aspirations and dreams and goals in life. And my objective was, how do I make a lot of money and get out of there? Back then, a lot of money was 100K, Chris.
Yeah.
I didn't know anybody made 100K. So, I was like, if I could I was watching Lifestyles of Rich and Famous thinking, if I could just make 100K, I would be done. I'm going to retire. Life would be so easy. And but the problem is I was creating a formula to get $100,000 thinking the old way. I could work 16 hours a day, 7 days a week at X amount of dollars per day, per hour. And that's what I needed to do. So I started thinking in per hour terms, not value terms. Big difference, right? For example, if you have your value is you have the cure to cancer on a piece of paper, what's that worth? It's worth in a lot more money than what per hour piece would ever pay you.
Right.
So I had to deprogram to reprogram my life. And for the first couple, 2 days after high school, I bought a seamless gutter company, owner financing. I was not a good student, barely graduated high school, never went to college. It wasn't even a thought in my mind. I just wanted to get out in the real world and make an impact and make money, impact on me first, make money. And then as I've evolved, I've realized making an impact in others is really where it's at. And when I do that, I make more. Go figure, right? And get to give more. So it's pretty neat, man. But nearly went bankrupt twice in the beginning. I'm a pretty dumb guy, pretty hard-headed, so it took me 2 times to almost, feel the pain to really figure out, I don't like that feeling. And then, I started looking at this a little bit different. I was doing real seamless gutters, doing construction, and I met this guy smoking cigars, driving Porsche to the job site, paying me to do all this work. And I'm like, he's making all this money, and I'm doing all the work. I was like, I'm not knocking it, I'm not hating on it, but I was like, and there's some people who just love doing the work. I never liked doing the work. I just like the outcome of the work. So I'm not afraid of working. If I put an hour in, I want to get way more money than what I was making. So I was like, I need to become him, or in that instance, it was him, or what he stands for, like a business owner, real estate investor. So I started learning about real estate, took all my money, like $2,400 back then was all my money. And that was not my money, it's the business's money because I had employees still I had to pay. Right. That was kind of rough. But, I learned how to do real estate. I saw a guy make a phone call via newspaper. Most people don't even know what those days are. This is 1996. He opened up the paper, made a call, and the lady's like, get over here, I'm done. And I said, I can do that. I can make a phone call. And I was 18 years old, scared shitless, but I was more afraid of what I knew than what I didn't know. And I think, Chris, that's what stops a lot of great people is they're so afraid of the unknown. I'm more afraid of the known than the unknown.
So do you think that's what helped you transition from the solo entrepreneur to the person you are today, where you own multiple multi-million-dollar companies?
Mm-hmm. Listen, I think it's an evolution process. Where I'm at back in when I left, me and my wife, we actually traveled the world and country for 7 years. Back in December 31st, 2005, I left. October 8th of 2005 was a big turning point for me, Chris, right? That's when my grandmother passed away, and she was like a rock of the family. It was a big deal. So it made me reevaluate what I was chasing. I just wanted to make a lot of money and be the cool guy, as opposed to like who I am today. Now I want to make a lot of money, but with other people. I was an entrepreneur, but I was a maniac, man. I worked for myself. yes, I made a lot of money, but I could have made a lot more. More importantly, I wasn't fun to be around. I was just like, let's make money. Let's make money. It was all about money. I didn't care about anything else. I was a very immature business owner. Actually, I wasn't even a business owner. Truthfully, I was just I was an entrepreneur with a lot of people, but I told them what to do. A real business owner has teams that guide them and are smarter than them. I was the smartest guy in the room. That's not the place to be. So yeah, I just said, I woke up and said, where am I going to be 10 years from now? Who do I need to become in 10 years that this looks different? Because a lot of times people just keep doing the same shit, expecting different results. I had to start thinking, acting. I had to read books, go to seminars, have masterminds, and hire coaches to help me become a business owner. Because they're talking about different stuff. Business owners and solopreneurs talk about different things all day.
Yeah. So at that stage in life, there's when did you hit your first million? First of all, how old are you right now?
43.
43. You started your gutter business at what age?
1996, 18 years old.
Okay. So at what point did you hit your first million?
Dude, I don't even remember. I know, because again, my goal was to hit 100,000. I was more excited about the 100,000. I did that in the first year, but that's gross revenue. That's another thing too. No one talked. I wanted to hit 100,000. I hit 100,000 gross revenue, but not net revenue. They're way different. If you own a business, you know exactly what I mean. Back then, especially in the beginning, like 100 grand is nothing, especially if you have team and all that. Like, it's not a big goal. But I don't know when I hit my first million, but I was financially free by age 27. I was more focused on becoming financially free because I know people that are millionaires that aren't necessarily financially free, right? Obviously, you had to generate millions and invest millions to get to that level. But me being financially free at 27 is way different than being 43, right? It takes a little bit more money to kind of keep the wheels going on at this point. But listen, I think a lot of people are focused on the first million. I think it's a good goal, but I think the real thing you're chasing is financial freedom and independence and time freedom. And not most people here don't need $1 million to do that. They probably need 3, 4, 5, 10 grand. I actually did a poll back in the day. The average person needed $3,800 a month consistently coming in to live the life they were living. Everything else was just wasteful spending. Because a lot of people are like, I need 10 grand, but they live on 4 grand a month right now. Now, if you had 4 grand a month coming in and you had all this free time to like focus on building something, you would make way more money. You know what I mean?
So is there something what I'm trying to find out for the viewers is that transition of where you're sitting there as a solo, you said it's an evolution process. So that transition of, I want to hit my first 100,000, and then you move over into your 20s. And now at this point, you're really getting momentum and your business is starting to explode. You're finding financial freedom. What does that evolution process look like? Is there a few secrets? And I hate to even call them secrets, but are there a few tricks that you were able to uncover that allowed you to jump those hurdles? Because so many people get stuck at the 100,000 mark a year and they just don't know how to break out of that. They have the desire, but it's like that skill set, that knowing is just not there.
Well, listen, I think they have the desire, but they're desiring on the wrong things. I want to lose weight, but I'm always hanging out at the buffet. My desire is to lose weight, but my efforts are not aligned with my desires. I see this happening every day. This was me for the long time, 12 years, where I had the desire to be massively wealthy and have a great company, but my desires didn't align with my efforts and team members. What I was talking about, I was hiring C and D players, not B and A and B players. Why? Because I was a cheapskate. I was shortchanging, today for a better future. I didn't understand what I was building. I didn't understand I needed to build a business and a brand, not how do I make more money today. It's different. I was making money, but I wasn't creating a business. These are two totally massively different activities. So the evolution for me was almost went bankrupt twice in my early 20s, like 2022, somewhere around there, like very quickly. Like I still have the paperwork, So for me, it was more of like, I don't like this feeling. Mm-hmm. Who do I need to become so this isn't a thing? I had no problem making money. My problem was keeping it and doing the right thing with it, right? I was going out to clubs, spending a lot of money, hanging out, but I lost track. I lost focus, really what I'm saying. Even though I had to show up to work. Again, back when you're young, you can drink and wake up in the morning, feel good, and do it again. Today, that's not the case. Take a couple of days to recover. But for me, it's like, I think I've shared this story with you before in a group, but like I went to this when I was on real estate at that level. I went to a real estate meeting and all the real estate guys are talking about the same problems. I'm early 20s and the guy's 52 has the same problem as me. That's a problem. I don't want to be, he's been in the game 20 years and he has the same problem as the guy's been in the game 4 years. Yeah. And if I don't become someone different or change what we're talking about or get in different groups, I'm going to be this guy. I saw myself in his shoes. Right. And yeah. I had to take a massive, it's like going to the doctor and hearing you have cancer in your left arm. If you don't cut it off, you're going to die, or cut off the arm and just be armless. It's way better to be armless. All right. Cause you're still around. So for me, it's like, I saw that and I was like, I got to do something different. So I stopped going to real estate events. I started learning how to be a leader, how to build a business. What does brand building look like? What does marketing look like? How to really build something, how to hire people, how to manage people. And I had to become someone way different. It's still tough. There's still a lot of moving parts to this, but this is a game that we're all in. And, it will better serve you to be a business owner than a solopreneur, in my opinion.
So what are you doing for self-development then? Because obviously that was the answer to that question, is you just started working on yourself, bettering yourself instead of a skill set. It 100% was self-development. So where is those avenues that's helping you rise?
Yeah, I mean, I think back in the day, you got to remember, man, this is book days. We didn't have audiobooks and podcasts and all that. You had to buy CDs or DVDs or, whatever. So I've read thousands of books, like I just indulged, Blue Ocean Strategy, Tribes, I mean, in my office, I have hundreds of books. I've given thousands away now because I don't read them always still, obviously, but like read them and then learn from them and execute in real life, get some real life feedback. Don't do that, do this. And out of that, I have to learn what kind of leader I am. I'm not a micromanager leader. I want to lead people to grow companies, not grow companies to lead people. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of people have the script reversed because maybe they just don't understand what they're trying to really accomplish. But yeah, man, I think definitely you got to, everyone says it, keep doing the same thing, expecting different results. But the problem is most people keep doing the same thing, expecting different results. What does that mean? You have to start. It's not learn more tactical of how to do the same shit, maybe make it 3% better. You need to figure out what's going to move the needle 100, 200, 300, 500% better. And then who do I need to become? And then start reading and indulging in that information. Podcast, masterminds, meetups. I mean, now it's endless, man. It's never been easier.
So what did your day look like back then compared to your day now?
Well, I got up at 4 a.m. I still do that, right? 4-ish a.m. Every morning. I think it's a very key habit for me. Keeps me moving, keeps me excited, especially with kids, right? I have 2 little kids now. So, getting up at 4 a.m. till 6:30, 7 a.m. That's my time. So I got to it's not always convenient, but it gets shit done time. But back then, man, I was 4 to 11 p.m. every day, 4 a.m. to 11 p.m. repeat process. I loved it. I never felt like I was missing out. All my friends out partying, getting goofy, doing silly stuff. I was thinking, dude, if I'm at the club, this is in the beginning stages, like from 18 to 21. I never really drank. I was just working. So I had a 3-year head start, whether out of college, getting wasted and acting stupid and hating their life. I was out building something I want to be proud of. And, I was on my mission. But yeah, it's different times, man.
So tell me about your books. I know I've read Magician versus Mule. As soon as you get the Meconomy on Audible, I will get to read to it. But yeah, I want to know about all of your books and give us just kind of those cliff notes on each one.
Yeah, I think I have 12 books out now. The first 3 or 4 were, really interview style books with high level people. I wanted someone from Apprentice, Kendra Todd back in the day. She won The Apprentice. I got her to do an interview with me. Frank McKinney, Michael Gerber. These are all good books, by the way. Michael Gerber, Frank McKinney, they'll write books about business. And again, I was sharing my journey. This is 2006, November 21st, 2006 is when I came out with my first book. And, we sold thousands and all the profits go to charity, which still to this day are the same way. So we've given 6 figures easily away, mid 6 figures, if not more, away through the book sales. And that's because of people that buy the books, which is awesome. So I did that. And then, I have a book out, virtual investing, right? I was a virtual real estate investor, meaning I was a business owner that did business. I was sitting in South Beach, Florida, and my team was in Columbus, Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio. And then, when we started traveling all over the world, we're sitting in France, deals are happening in Cleveland. Our office is now in Florida. I mean, it was wild times, man. So, I just shared journey and story. If you follow my books, you see the evolution process that I'm in real time. And then I wrote a book called 10-Minute Business Owner, because I started like really detaching from the business to see how well it could grow without me. Mm-hmm. And this may sound weird to an entrepreneur, but Chris, you know this to be true, is like sometimes we actually hold the company down. We don't allow it to grow because we're growing, because we're afraid to grow us. We're afraid to grow our finances, afraid to grow our fear. Like a lot of times we're the problem. Actually, all the time we're the problem. So I knew that. So I was out on the yacht. We're in the Caribbean. Me and my wife and my son were hanging out on this little island by ourselves. And I was just journaling. And I was like, dude, I could run my business in 10 minutes or less a day. And I just kind of put it on paper how I do it, and I call it, how do you constrain conversations? Because a lot of business owners, we'll just talk. We'll just end the game. Boom, take call. Hey, honey, I'll be right back. But it causes conflict at home. If you have a spouse, you know what I mean? It's not present, all this. So I was like, if I only had 10 minutes a day sitting on an island, who do I talk to and what do I talk about? And what information do I need to see to know that my business is growing, shrinking, or in trouble, or working out really well? So what it does is it forces you to get serious about things that matter. A lot of times there's just a lot of chatter going on in life. So, not understanding what KPIs, key performance indicators mean, right? Typically everyone's like, I'm tracking everything. Well, then that means you have nothing because it's a lot to track. So in my company, in the real estate, I just needed to know how many properties we acquired, because I understood the model. Our business, if we acquired 7, that you keep in mind 7, that means that means we probably sold 10, because there was a formula we had internally that I knew, our team knew, if we're buying 7, it equaled, 1.3 or whatever, X. Mm-hmm. And then I didn't even have to ask how much money we made, because we always made 12 grand a deal. So if we sold 10, I already knew we made 120 that day. Right. And that's not net. That's 120, 120 gross plus staff team, knowing that we had a 38% net profit margin in that business or whatever. So these are things that, again, it's the 10 minutes, like talking, you're on a global phone. Who's on this phone with me? I'm not calling Home Depot trying to, beat up my contractor. Like, dude, you got beef jerky on that bill? I'm not paying beef jerky. You got a Monster Energy drink? F you. You're stealing from me. You got tools on there? Get out of here. You know what I mean? Anybody that's been in real estate, definitely. Yeah. We've all done that. So, again, it's like I had to start changing my conversations. It's not like I'm beneath them, but like I'm not serving anybody if I'm playing ball with them one-on-one. So it's like this is the multiplication effect. Even in the beginning too, even if there's 2 people on the call, it's one less call I have to make, right? So maybe a small operation, maybe get accounting and your assistant. I don't know. Like, just you got to start learning how to like drive bigger conversations, honestly.
So that was the 10-minute businessman, and then you moved into Magician versus Mule.
Yeah, Magician versus Mule was the next book, because it's kind of like, how did I get to the 10-minute business owner? Well, I had to learn about being a magician. By the way, business ownership is not about being it's not magic trick. Like, it's not like it just happened. Like, a magician is someone that works really hard to perfect their trick, right? It's not like, David Copperfield sat at home and said, I'm going to be the best magician, and now he is. He had to learn behind the scenes. He had to work hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands of hours to do a 30-second trick to make everyone like in awe. So, magician versus mule, like we're all designed as mules, right? We're built as mules. We're all mules. The question is, once you realize it, you got to start fixing it. And that's why you're probably here following Chris, because you're realizing there's more to life than being a mule. And that book that's actually been my #1 bestseller. It's been compared to the Robert Kiyosaki book a lot, which is really cool. Because it's just a different perspective. I think that's why and people resonate with it. Like, I remember that book very well. Like with my mother, I used to see my parents work so hard. They're hardworking people. Her company that she worked for just muled her out like you've never even seen, right? So I just remember how hard she'd work, and I'm like, I don't want that. I don't want to be the mule like that. She did what they had to do with the knowledge they had. So It's not knocking. It's just a reality. And then you fast forward to Meconomy, right? When COVID and all that stuff hit, I was getting a lot of people stressing out. Like, what are you doing? What do you do? And the truth is, I've been virtual since 2005, right? So I didn't really have that disruption. I was always going to have my kids homeschooled. Why? Because I don't believe in the school system. I never have, even when I was in it. I'm like, why am I learning about this? It's never going to do anything for me. Not to say kids shouldn't learn and all that stuff. I'm not saying that, but like, I can learn this in 3 hours a day. I don't need to sit in there 12 hours a day. You got to ask yourself, why was the school system created? The structure. Well, to create, to build employees. That's why. That's it. No more, no less, honestly. So I've always known that. So it didn't really affect us a lot. It did affect us traveling, right? Because we travel a lot for fun. But, listen, be thankful for what you got, right? We didn't get, everyone's healthy. But I wrote that book during that time because I was getting a lot of questions from high-end people and everybody, like socially and email and all that, calls. But Meconomy is really about being selfish in the moment. You got to take care of you, and
Right.
If you're a better you're a better giver, you're a better husband, better spouse, and
Definitely.
guy, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's just we want to, share some real knowledge to help people grow.
So I want to pick your brain about business. And I'm going to ask you a double-edged question. So what business do you think is the most relevant right now in our marketplace? And kind of tell us what you've got your hands in currently, because you're obviously successful. So I learn the most when I hear what successful people are actually doing. When I hear their story, I can extract certain points and make it relevant to my life to help me get there. So what are you active in, and what do you think is the most relevant business right now?
Relevant business to the world or to me?
Let's answer it both ways.
Yeah, listen, I think to the world right now, if you're selling hope and you got a real plan of hope, I think you make a lot of money. Listen, I think, energy sectors are powerful. I like big companies. I like big stuff. Real estate's small time compared to the big grand scheme of things. Yeah. I don't do as much real estate as I used to. I'm more of a private investor, lender now. E-commerce, right? I'm huge in e-com. I have lots and lots of partners in that space. It's not always pretty, but the question you got to ask yourself is e-commerce going to get bigger or smaller 5 years from now? Right. It's only getting bigger. So why would you not want to participate? Well, Mark, I've already missed the boat. No, it's just getting started, right? So it's going to always evolve and get bigger. So I love e-commerce. It's scalable at a real level. I'm in the media space. I love media, right? Because news is relevant. Mm-hmm. I'm not in the negative news world, but we're sharing high level financial and health news at a high level. So, that's evolving, right? Bodies are changing. People are changing. Our ages are changing. If you wouldn't read my stuff if you're 18 to 30 trying to get a big pump on. But if you're 42 to 75 and trying to figure out how to get your, anxiety down, your blood levels, all this stuff, it's big. But the truth is all this stuff's endless. I love the pet industry. Mm-hmm. Pet industry is kind of insulated with recession. So everyone's worried about recession right now. I'm looking at our businesses as recession proof as possible. Truth is, when recession hits, shit hits the fan, people fall more in love with their pets. They want to do more with their pets. They're looking for different leashes, a lot of stuff. So it actually increases. I like monthly recurring income business models. Anything monthly recurring, if you can do it and provide value and results, it's very powerful. Look at all the money you pay every month recurring, property taxes, cell phone bills, cable, internet, there's a lot of recurring things. And if you drive downtown, who has the biggest buildings? It's going to be the phone companies, the financial companies, everything you're paying monthly for. So again, I don't have to be a genius. I know you say you want to pick my brain. I don't have much of a brain to pick, but I'm kind of so dumb. I understand simplicity. So it's if the big building if they have that on the brand, what are they doing? It's monthly income. But man, I think there's lots of great companies. The question is, how big do you want it to be? What do you want it to do for you? I think the real question is, what do I want the business to provide me? Right? Because a lot of entrepreneurs will do everything. We'll do anything, but that doesn't always serve us long term. And I like a lot of industries right now. Financial's big, man. I like the financial industry.
So what investments are you active in?
Well, I'm actively investing in people, right? My teams and all that. I'm actively investing in partnerships. I have about 350 partnerships in the e-com world. I'm actively investing in, alternative assets such as crypto. I'm not big in the stock market. I don't believe in the stock market at all. I believe way more in crypto for many reasons, but I'm investing in, all kinds of alternative stuff. I'm in the solar world. I'm in the, gun space, high end, talking guns at $50,000, $80,000, $200,000. There's huge profit margins in that space if you have the right partner. I'm actively investing in, information. I have a data company, my direct skip company. I love data because it's a scalable model, and people need data, better results. What else am I investing in? Art. I like art, cars. Right now I'm a smart investor because I bought nice watches and nice cars, and they go up in value. Everyone's a genius, by the way, when the market's going up, right?
Right.
Going. So that's a good sign. Pay attention to people that are falling off like flies when shit hits the fan soon. I'm investing time, man. I'm investing time with my family. That's like the best investment. Myself and my family, like, have this passive income and create these businesses. I love working though. Let me just be clear, Chris. It's not like I'm sitting home doing nothing all day. I love getting behind the desk and doing what we're doing. But and what you're doing, Chris, is huge because what we're talking about is going one to many, right? So we're investing our time to do one to many. I'm investing in this big event I'm doing in June in Cleveland, like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm investing in. I have 2 new books coming out this year, so I'm investing in that. I'm investing in a documentary. I have a documentary coming out because, again, back to where am I going to be in 5 years? I want more people knowing who I am 5 years from now, and then that because I'm talking 7-figure investments this year for stuff. So I'm investing minimum $1 million to be bigger in 5 years. Not today, right? You're not going to see instant results. You know how that is. But in the future, 5 years from now, where am I going to be? Do you think you're going to be? Do you think you have more opportunity if 1 million more people know you in 5 years, or 0? It's just simple.
100%. I mean, I met you through it was a virtual event, Tim Brought's Commercial Empire. You came on. I was like, man, I like this dude. I like his energy. I like his confidence. He's obviously doing something to carry that kind of confidence. And then started following you on social media. So, I mean, you were working your personal branding, and now I'm a mentee at this point. When you opened up the doors on your mastermind to expand it. And I think the personal branding is so huge right now for everyone.
Yes.
Because of what you mentioned, the opportunities that follow the eyeballs that see you. So when you're looking at businesses, what are you trying to identify to know that it is a good investment, a good business to fit your lifestyle?
The old me was like, if it made money, I'm buying it. The new me, I've bought a lot of businesses, and some's done really well, some not so well. But the ones that don't do well, it's because I don't have any secret sauce to bring to it. I'm just buying it to make money. And I'm not in the game of life just to make money. That's what happens. I kind of get non-motivated. I'm not motivated by money. I'm motivated by results and growth. Money just happens to follow that typically, right? So I discovered my unique ability, or my passion, was I'm really good at marketing. I'm really good at team building. I'm really good at seeing the playing field at a higher level. Not that I'm better than anybody. It's just that's my skill set. Some people are really good at accounting and this. Some people are really good. My dad loves like tinkering and fixing stuff and all that. We all have a place in the scale of economy. But for me, I'm looking for companies that are creating multiple millions of dollars a year in gross revenue. Ideally, EBITDAs of $1 million plus. Actually, I'd go a little less. I'd probably go 500,000, depending on the niche. But I've identified pet. I like the pet industry, so I'm like very aggressive in the pet world. Where if you have a business serving pets, not food and all that, I'm not into the food, but more into the other side of it. But I'm looking at that. The company I'm in the process of acquiring, it's $1 million plus EBITDA. It's got 9 employees. It's got a warehouse. It's a real business. They're spending $400,000 a month on marketing. So I don't like startups. I guess that's what I'm saying. I'm not looking for startups at all. Too many ideas, not enough results for me at this point in my life. But I can take, like this company I'm getting ready to buy, like I literally can take my skill set and my team, and we can like 3, 4, 5x the revenue fairly quickly. Just a couple tweaks, and I just don't want to do all the hard work anymore. Creating a company for first 5 years is pretty tough.
Yeah. So what are those tweaks? Like, what is it that you're bringing to a company that's going to allow you to multiply that revenue?
Marketing, number one, 100%. I understand marketing at a high level. I've invested millions of dollars over the year myself to learn marketing, right? I always knew the real business we're all in is marketing, right? If you don't have marketing going on and clients coming in, how can I scale that? Well, I do word of mouth. Word of mouth is one form of marketing, but it's not a form of marketing I can control, right? But there's ways to stimulate it, but I can't control it. And if I'm trying to build a business where I need 10 leads a day or 10 buyers a day or whatever, Word of mouth is only going to work maybe 10% of that, right? So now I need a 90% model that I can go out there and crush it. So marketing, understanding the different paths, email marketing. Keep in mind, I own a company that sends emails on our media company. At one point we're sending 750 to almost 1 billion emails a month out. So I understand marketing and metrics and how it works and why it works and all that. And so I have I have 10 years of that in that business, right? In that marketing world, just that one piece alone. And then they have a thing called text marketing now, right? So text marketing is very powerful if you understand the dynamics of it. Obviously, legal text marketing, I should say,
Sure.
disclaimer. Doing it properly, there's a lot of cool ways. One company I know, for example, just give me an example of how big text marketing is. A company I know very well, they have 900,000 people on a texting list, right? How much, Chris, do you think they get to send one text out to that list?
Man, I don't have a clue.
60 grand.
Wow.
It's 14 words max, and they get paid $60,000. So do you think texting works?
Yeah.
It definitely works because people don't keep buying that if it's not working. I promise you. So This guy's never sent an email. He's only sent 2 emails a year out to his list. I know how to send emails. We would send emails every day, not spam, but like high quality. 2, he doesn't have a giving component, right, to his opportunity, his leads. So we're going to tie in a donation charity piece for every order you make. Money goes to charity in the dog space, no kill shelters and all that. So now what you do is we're shifting, we're changing the mindset into this. Like, this isn't just a company it takes. We're actually a giving company, not a taking company. Not saying this guy's doing anything wrong either, by the way. He's done everything he can up to this point, and that's the skills he has, and he's really good at it, by the way. So that, and then team. He's an owner operator. He's taken it to where he can take it to. $1 million plus a year is not bad net profit. Companies making about $8 million a year net. So he, gross. I mean, so he's done a really good job to that point. But some people are great starters, creating of companies. Some people are great growing of companies, and some people are great at nurturing longevity of companies. These are all 3 different skill sets. I'm usually in the middle. I'm good at like seeing it and growing it. But it takes money to do that and knowledge. So that company, these companies, we're buying anywhere from, $3 to $10 million right now is what we buy at.
So have you always been a good team builder, or is that a skill set that you learned later on?
I would, dude, again, the school system's never taught you to be a good team builder, right? Yeah. Listen, in English class, I was great at team building, but they called it cheating. So I was good at collaborating, and I was outsourcing to my friends that were way smarter than me in English, and they were outsourcing to me in math. I understood math way different than them, right? So it's funny how that is, but then you get out in the real world, and this is the problem. They don't teach you to ask for help. They don't, because you're weak if you ask for help. Right. I got to do this on my own. I got to grind it out. Well, if you just raised your hand and said, yo, Chris, I need help. Guys like you and I, man, we want to help people that want to help themselves. It's the best thing in the world. We don't want assholes. People just ask because they can ask. Right. Like, if you're a doer, like, it's like music to our ears, So, yeah, dude, I was not good at team building. You understand? I was a broke mentality driver. I wasn't a leader. I was a boss, but keep in mind, my old me, I wanted to be the biggest boss. I wanted to have the most employees. Like, Mark, you're the boss. You're the boss. Now I don't want anybody to know I'm one of them. I actually work for them. Right? Yeah. I'm a leader. I got more arrows on my back than them because I'm protecting them. Right? I want to lead them. I want to guide them. And I don't want to talk about it. I want to do it with them, So, because I've been there, done that, and I'm in the journey through the process. So I lost some really good people on the journey, because I was muling my team because that's what I knew. Right. So for the first 12 years of my life, man, I lost a lot of great people in my life because I'm like, work harder to get paid less. The harder you work, the less you make. Go figure. That's a cool model, right? It doesn't work out well. But I had some really amazing people stuck around because they believed in the big picture. And unfortunately, they just got burnt out. And that was my fault. So I realized that. I think, too, you got to have an awareness with yourself as a real entrepreneur that everything good and bad is your fault.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, 100%.
Right? Most guys raise their hand when they're like, I did that if it's really good. But if shit's hitting the fan, you're like, dude, I don't want to. I didn't do that. My assistant did that.
Yeah. When I started taking responsibility for everything good and bad in my life, a dramatic change took place. I started seeing myself just climb massive heights because at that point, if it was bad, it was my responsibility to fix it.
Yep.
And I stopped making the blame game. And with the blame game, just nothing ever gets changed.
Well, listen, the problem is, cool, if you want to play the blame game at the end of, well, typically, yeah, it just doesn't serve anybody or anything. You know?
Right. So how do you stay motivated, pushing towards your dreams and your potential self on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, it's a good, I don't think about it.
Yeah.
I haven't done anything, right? In all seriousness, you're saying all this stuff I've done. I literally feel like I'm just like scratching the surface. So I think when people lose motivation, it's because they're not dreaming big enough. Like, I have pretty big dreams, pretty big goals. I want to be a big giver. And not that, Christians, man, I got 2 little kids, dude. They're watching. They're not going to watch your dad sitting around with his thumb up his ass watching, WWE all day and playing video games.
What's their age?
7 and 3.
Yeah.
Right. So I got real work to do. They're watching dad. Cool thing. Like, I want to be a great steward of money. I want to make a lot and give a lot. And you got to steward that. You got to understand stewardship. You got to understand giving back. Like, this is a muscle, right? We got to work on this muscle. I'm not talking like giving $100. I'm talking like many hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions. How do we do that in our lifetime? Maybe not just through me, but through our connections, right?
Right.
When I do my birthday bashes, like in June, we'll be doing, like, our goal is to always donate hundreds of thousands of dollars just from that one event. And everyone participates. So it's like, I have the vision, we bring the drive and the cool stuff, and we all give more money. It's kind of cool. We all win. So I've never met someone that's like, man, I hate the world because I give too much. I give too much money and I hate the world. You usually see the world in a different light. And I don't need motivation. My motivation is knowing that I'm going to die. True this. I'm very motivated by death, Chris. Yesterday, actually, a true story. My son was riding a bike around the pool, and she was like cleaning leaves out of the pool, whatever, being a little kid. And he hit the pool and she fell in. She's only 3. And if the babysitter wasn't here, I wouldn't be here today. I'd probably be making arrangements for a funeral, right? So that's what motivates me, death. Obviously not her death, but I'm going to die. I'm 43. I might be on the other side of death. I might be on the wrong side, the downhill death to the end. So, if I live to 86, awesome. But I want to live longer as long as I'm healthy. But that drives me, man. It's like, I think so many people are living like they're going to live forever. I see it everywhere. It's like they're just hanging out, just waiting to die. And I'm like, we're going to die. That time will come. How do we make the most of it while we're here? And I got a lot of books to write. These books are not just for people to learn and give a lot of money away, but this kind of like my kids, they're going to wake up, and their kids and their grandkids and their great-grandkids, like, they're going to be able to read my books. And they're going to learn who I was through the journey of the books. I picture 100 books on the shelf, start from the left and go to the right, and they get to know who I am. This could be like 500 years later, Yeah. And this video, right? We live in a beautiful world where we can record shit and it can last forever. It's not like us having the big ones like we used to have right on the shoulder.
I remember my dad with the video sitting in there. I mean, it was massive, like a suitcase. It always amazes me when I speak to other entrepreneurs. I mean, just like you said, you was like, I'm just scratching the surface. It feels like I've not done anything myself. And I feel that way. And then I have other people look at me and they're like, man, you've done so much. But then every time I get in a group with bigger players, it's easier to acknowledge, man, I haven't done jack shit. And I think that is really, like you said, there's not anything that you technically do for motivation. It's just you're motivated because you really never get that satisfied feeling of I've arrived. Because as soon as you hit your goal or dream, you've got another goal or dream now, because now you believe you can do even more.
Yeah, listen, if you don't, you're in trouble. It's complacency, and you're either going forward or backwards. There's no settling in life. It doesn't it's not stagnant in life. I think the big thing is what you said, though, is like, people around you are like, dude, you're doing so much. You got to be careful who you listen to. Right. So much compared to what? By the way, you might even be doing more than them in that group, but compared to your dreams, you're not doing much at all. Mm-hmm. So they're coming, not to say you can't enjoy it and you hear it and you appreciate it, but I don't need anybody to tell me I'm doing a good job. I don't need anybody to say, high five. It's like, dude, number scoreboard. That's all I'm looking at. Scoreboard, results. That, data, not drama. And, as we all know, most people are living below their means, mentally and result wise. So when someone says something, I listen to it, but I don't, you know, you got to take it for a grain of salt. You know, it's like, Chris, cool, I'm big time to what? Like, I don't know what that means. Because again, we're barely scratching the surface. And as you know, our destinations in our brain today, it really is just a checkpoint in the process.
Right.
Today, we can't think any bigger until we get there. But when we get there, it's like, there's another level. You know, you just don't know that until you get to that point, though.
So how are you incorporating your entrepreneurial business duties into your family life as well? And I'm not going to use the word balance because I don't know that there is a balance in life. I think there's seasons in life. But kind of give me your strategy there of how you make sure you don't neglect the family, because you never know when death is around the corner.
Yeah, listen, I think it all comes down to awareness, right? I'm very aware my kids are going to be 7 and 3 once, right? Yeah. It's only happened one time. I know diaper season's only a certain amount of time. I know them crying in their rooms. Like, these are all moments I actually cherish and like I like it. Like, my daughter wakes up sometimes in the middle of the night. You know, I keep mine. I'm early at 4 o'clock because she's getting up at 2. So I'll go in there and lay with her, and I'm just like, I don't want to leave the bed with her because I know in 2, 3, 4, 5 years she's like, Dad, you're disgusting. Ooh, yucky. You know, whatever. So I already know that I'm cool to ride. I'm in the journey. You know, and so I'm very aware. Like I said, I get up early. I do my things. I have breakfast with my family every morning. I've built my life. I've built my businesses around my life. Most people build their life around their business. And I don't do that. Like, you know, I don't travel much unless my family's with me. Very rarely will I travel without my family. They need to, they're my babysitters because I can get a little crazy sometimes. Right. But it keeps me grounded, truthfully. You know, I like to have fun and be silly. Most entrepreneurs, you know, we don't have the on and off switch. We're either all go or all no. So, you know, I talk to my family about stuff, and it's conversational. You know, like, my kids don't know anything different. Like, literally, we'll meet someone at the club here and they're like, Daddy, they work for you? Like, they don't know. No, like, I'm doing business with them, or they don't understand the difference yet. But it's kind of cool. Like, my son, I'm always trying to teach them lessons about life. He wanted a new toy, like a little thing for his Game Boy, like whatever those chips are. It's like $50. And I'm like, well, you have $400 in your, you know, cash in his little safe. Right. And I was like, it's $50, but you can get it, but you got to buy $50 in toys. Right. And he's like, why? I was like, because you got to give them away. You know, I want you to get 5 toys at $10, you know, like little Barbie dolls, whatever kids want. Right. And I was like, you know, if you buy something for yourself, you got to give a match it and give it away. And he starts crying, right? Well, it's my money. I don't want to do that. You know, he's 7, he's 6.5, 7. And I'm like, well, this, you know, you're going to feel so much better by giving away than actually getting. And, you know, he fights it. But when he does it, he like feels really cool about it. He's like, Dad, look what I got, blah, blah, blah. And then I got to explain to him, like, there's a little kid that's going to get this gift. They don't even know who you are, but it's going to change their day. It's going to make them all like that, you know. These kids have everything. My kids have everything they need, you know. Now it's more wants than needs, right? So, you know, I'm incorporating like my, you know, thought process into them about investing in fun, investing in people, right? Those are 2 cool core values of the family.
I think that's really huge what you just mentioned. I know on our call this past Wednesday, you talked about, I think it was this past Wednesday, you talked about your mentor, a very successful guy that had kids, taught you how to raise your kids in a wealthy lifestyle. And it just hit me because I've had those same thoughts because I know where I'm going. I know my potential. And I've got a 16-month-old. I've got a 13 and a 15 and a 16-month-old. And I think that's the key. What you just said is teaching them that you give. As long as they have that giving muscle, I don't think you're going to raise a spoiled brat. They can still have it all, but the giving factor, that was a light bulb that came on when you said that.
Yeah, my biggest, actually, it's one of my books I'm writing this year is about how to raise kids with wealth. You know, I'm not tight on the title yet, but that's the outcome of it. Is it's one of my biggest fears. You know, my kids are on jets. I don't think my daughter's ever been on a commercial plane in her life. You know, they're on jets and yachts and big house. Like, they don't even, this is not a real world. You know, this is not normal. It's our normal, but it's not the world's normal. Right. And I reiterate like how grateful we are and thankful and how hard daddy's worked. I think we need to lead by example too. Like, I work hard, just different types of hard work, right? You know, and, you know, working on yourself. But yeah, man, I think the giving muscle, you're right. If you give, it's such a character trait that if you're a great giver, it's almost hard to be spoiled brat.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So,
what books or podcast or whatever has really made a massive impact on your life that's helped you get to this point?
man, look, I've read over 5,000 books, and I'm a terrible reader. I hate reading, and I'm a terrible reader, and I never read a book till I was 18. So, put that in 26 years. But, dude, there's so many. That's the problem. There's so many. I'd always ask the question is, where are you suffering? Where do you feel like you need the most help? And let's go there. So Psycho-Cybernetics, if you're trying to figure out what's going on in here, why things aren't working in it's a great book by Dr. Maxwell Maltz. It's a great, great book. The magic of thinking big. Honestly, Chris, a lot of people stop thinking big because they settled for small or settled for where they're at. So you got to understand how to think big. Not only understand it, but also do it. It's an exercise, right? Yeah. Like I shared with you guys in the DM fan, kind of how I think big and go big, and like, because when you think you're balling in a $5 million house and you see a $150 million house, you're like, real? That exists? Like this is real? Or you're rolling around in your new boat on the lake and it costs you 120 grand and you're scared to death when you bought it. But now we're going to the yacht show, like I said today, and there'll be like $100 million yachts everywhere, like toys. So there's all levels and perspective. The podcast, this sounds silly, but me doing my podcast, The Making of a DM, it helps me get clear on messaging to the audience, right? So it makes me a better person. I actually study on how to deliver, how to do voice inflection, how to, say something, negative, but turn it into a positive. Like if anybody watched my show, I've got 107 episodes out 2.5 years later, like literally show 1 and show today will sound way different, because I am different. We're evolving. Yeah. And I love people that join in the journey. Chris, you've been around there. So it's like, obviously E-Myth by Michael Gerber, the entrepreneur myth. You work for a psycho. You're the psycho because you work for yourself. Yeah. Profit first. I think a lot of entrepreneurs don't pay themselves. I know I used my personal company account as my personal piggy bank account, right? My company, I'd rape the company every month. I don't take a draw. Well, every month I'm like, and what the problem with that is you think you're not succeeding in your company because you're personally overspending. So your company suffers, you suffer, no one wins. So in the beginning, start paying yourself $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month, $5,000 a month, $10,000, whatever, and then start building up that muscle. And then before you know it, now you can separate business and personal. That will definitely help give you a little bit of confidence as you grow because you can separate the pieces.
So what you were doing is taking a business card and just spending it as your personal money instead of taking an allowance from the company, and that is what you lived on.
Well, that's why profit first is so big. Listen, if you got an employee, you pay them. Well, you're an employee to your own company too. You should pay yourself. If you have rent on a property that you have your employees in, guess what? That always gets paid. Why can't you pay yourself? So I did this for years. I never paid myself. I thought if I paid myself, I was taking from the company, even though we all still have real bills. So we're taking from the company somehow. There's the only way how else am I going to pay my house payment, right? Or whatever back then. So I think it's just getting clarity on what this looks like. And I'm just looking around. Dude, there's so many great books. What else? I mean, if you're trying to learn about money, happy money, understanding money, like we all have emotional attachment to money. Chris, true story. This sounds so crazy, but a lot of people suffer from PTSD with money, a lot. And it holds you back from growth, right? Because you've been broke and you don't want to go broke. So then you stop and you want to save, but savers don't win, investors win. So you got to learn, you got to figure out how to bridge, retie this thing in your brain or untie to learn how to invest, stop saving. I'm not saying don't save, but save to invest. It's a different strategy, different life strategy. It definitely massively different outcome, massively. So like get to know money, get to know yourself. I think that's so big. Magician versus Mule would be a great book for people just kind of feel like they're stuck in the rut, feel like they're just doing all the work. You probably are. That's why you feel that way. Right. But it's endless, man. I gotta, I always love everything Tony Robbins. I always love there's just a lot of great product and books out there and courses.
So one more question, because I know you got the event you're going to, so I want to be mindful of your time. Can you give us a basic, your understanding of a basic structure of business for those that are just getting started in business and they maybe have a skill set? So they say, hey, I'm going to go start my own business, but they're going to be the bottleneck and it's going to be stuck with them if they don't have an understanding of what a real business model looks like.
Yeah, I'll try. I mean, listen, I think about sports, right? You got Tom Brady. You got back when he played for the New England, right? Then you got the coach, and then you got the manager, and then you got the owner. Where do you want to be in the cycle? Do you want to be Tom Brady? That's an operator, right? He's on the field, in the trenches. He's doing the work. Yep. Then you got the coach, right? He's working on strategy. He's working on growth. He's working on team building, right? His job is to team build at one level one. Right. He's got to get the best center, the best protectors of the quarterback, because the quarterback's only as good as the front line, right? And then now once the front line's established, you got the quarterback. Now you got the corner, the wide receivers, and then the backs. So you got to like build this team. Like that's what the coach does. Then the general manager helps them, right? He's out scouting for the manager. He's scouting talent to the coach, and then the coach is building the team. But overall, I don't want to be Tom Brady. I want to be Kraft. I want to be the owner. I want to own the building, and I want to share the message to everybody, and then everyone's executing on the plan, leading, right? So, and there's no, by the way, find your role. Tom Brady's Tom Brady.
Right.
Coach Belichick is Belichick. Kraft is Kraft. Like, so they all have their place in the moment. Who's not to say Tom Brady could not buy a football team 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Shit, he might be able to do it now, right?
Probably can.
You just never know. So it's like, everyone's in a different cycle, different state of business growth. Yeah. And the question is, one, you got to identify where you're at so you can acknowledge it. And then more importantly, what is your next step? Do you want to be Kraft? Do you want to be coach? Do you want to be Brady for a little bit longer? There's no right or wrong. I think the wrong would be staying in the same place forever, right? There's timelines on all this shit. Kraft is going to be gone. Who's going to be next Kraft? Maybe his son, grandson, whoever. But it's life. Things change, you know?
I think that's a great analogy. I love that. All right. So how do people find you?
Hopefully they don't. No, I'm just joking. What type of people are we talking about? No, I mean, you can follow me on social media at markevansdm.com or at markevansdm or on markevansdm.com or Amazon, right? Like Amazon, I have all my books over there, Mark Evans DM or The Making of a DM, the podcast show. But yeah, you can find me anywhere, man. I'm all over the place, I hope. And if I'm not, I apologize. That's my fault. My team's not doing a good job. I'm not leading them properly. And I need to be in front of more people for sure.
So everybody watching, we're on YouTube, my YouTube channel. We're on LinkedIn, and then we're in the Bigger Vision Facebook group. This is a free Facebook group that you can hop into. We drop weekly content like this right here. And then there's a ton of inspirational mindset stuff. And we're gradually pulling in more business and investing criteria to help people start moving upwards and growing financially so that they can get that financial independence. If you haven't checked out Bigger Vision Podcast, that's my podcast. Please hop on there, check it out if you find it valuable. Give me a 5-star review. Give me a written review because that helps me drive the algorithm. The exact same thing for Mark, The Making of the DM. I jumped on his podcast. It's something I listen to in the morning and during my workout, during my commute. It energizes me, gets me pumped up. I shared it with my brother, and my brother got addicted to it as well. I promise you will love the podcast. Mark, man, I appreciate you. Thank you for being a mentor. Thank you for coming on and mentoring my network. And I just appreciate your time today, and have fun at the yacht event.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it, man. Chris, keep up the great work and keep changing lives, man. That's what it's about. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, brother. Have a good day.
You too.